Everybody, can you guys hear me in the back?
Woo! Woo! Oh, I'm not in the back.
Thank you guys all for joining us today for the Central Valley Progressive PAC fundraiser. We're really excited to have some amazing guest speakers, both who are amazing elected progressive candidates, people who are elected to office, and people who are candidates, and community activists as well.
Woo!
There's a lot of really amazing work being done in the community right now. I think we can all feel that, and we all know that. And it's important that we are supporting candidates who are running, people who are elected to office, and all the amazing work that's being done. So first up, I'm going to introduce you to one of the youngest electeds that I know. She is elected to City Council in Kingsburg, Jewel Hurtado. Come on up.
Hello everybody, how are ya? Progressive in the house. It's so nice to be here with all of you. I am getting older, unfortunately. I'm still gonna be the youngest, but it's my birthday next week on the 19th. Shameless plug. I will be 23. Anyways, it is so nice to be here. Libras! It is so nice to be here with all of you and to have like-minded folks who are supportive. It means a lot to me. Thank you, Simone, for inviting me. I just want to say we were able to beat the recall effort against me. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Darren Miller joked with me that I had this sigh of relief when I was talking to him. He's like, "You're too young for that sigh of relief, and you cannot be stressing like that." And you're right. And you know what? That put a little stress off of my shoulders. But I want to say a huge thank you to this PAC because Simone reached out to me and let me know that you decided to send me a check to my opposition bank account, and that means a lot to me because every dollar that came through that bank account and to my regular campaign produces union printed literature to connect with my constituents about the work that is being done in the town that really isn't political. It's just speaking up for the people, and that's what progressives do, is we know what it's like to be normal people, and so we want to be elected to office to see that kind of change and honestly see some representation, because it is not often you see young progressive leaders in the Central Valley elected to office, especially in cities like Kingsburg. So thank you for your support. I appreciate you, and continue to help fundraise for this group, because they're going to help support candidates like me, candidates like Lauren. We have awesome people like Veva here tonight, and it's just really exciting and refreshing to see people like you coming together, and I appreciate you and love you from Kingsburg, so thank you.
This is the next big fight in Fresno, and how many people saw in the news about the social workers this week? Yeah, several people. That's work that I've been working on with my day job for the last 2 months. It's really sad to see some of these situations happening. I couldn't imagine if my son, who's 6 years old, was taken and put into social services and had to sleep on a cement floor with nothing but a yoga mat. These social workers are taking children out of traumatic situations, and then they have to bring them into more traumatic situations. So it's really rough to have to see that, and then to speak to the Board of Supervisors, speak to the heads of department, and have them be cold and callous and nothing happens until the media starts talking about it. It really shows how power works in this city, in this county. And if we want to change things, unfortunately we have to shine light in areas. And I'm really thankful to be a part of that work. It just got picked up by the Associated Press this morning. So it's going to be national news. And we know it's time to change things on the county level with the Board of Supervisors now.
I'm hopeful you can see me. I have 5 minutes and I want to give 5 facts. So the first fact is that I am so grateful
because it was really this progressive PAC who helped support me. I ran twice and lost the first time, but it was many people in this audience who kept encouraging me and saying, like, let's try it again, let's go for school board, and I was successful. So thank you so much for that. And I think that, to echo what Joel said, contributing to this PAC makes a world of difference to candidates, new candidates like I was. I feel like I have a little bit of experience under my belt, but there's still a lot, right? Like there's still a lot more to do to be successful, in particular because there are threats of recall for all of us on the school board, right? And I'll touch on that a little bit. But I guess my second fact is just to say that, yes, I do consider myself progressive. I think by comparison to a lot of my colleagues on the board, I am. One of the first things I did was ask for distribution, an analysis of the investments that have been made within the different regions. And it is not too hard to speculate that there are certain regions within the school district that have gotten a lion's share of investments. I think you can see that when you go to their schools and you see the infrastructure around them, that some kids have nice sidewalks to walk to school in, and that there is traffic control and all of that, and some haven't. So one of the things that I've been very dedicated about is trying to create greater equity in terms of the investment of those resources. And in the 3 years that I've been elected, McLean has gotten a new stadium. It's gotten a new swimming pool. That swimming pool is open during the summers for children who live in that neighborhood so that they can have a safe place to be active and exercise and swim. We've gotten a new library, and there is a theater in the works for McLean. So McLean is becoming really a really well-represented, comprehensive school. One of the deficits that we have is that there is a lot of brain drain with this sort of negative sort of history about the McLean region. We get a lot of students that go out. But I think when we're seeing things like a pipeline of students who are graduating, with their seals of biliteracy, that we see relationships forming with Fresno State to create an interpretation center that will be the premier for the Valley, then you can see the beauty of representing a region that has so many bilingual and bicultural students who will really be able to be of service to their community, right? So those are some of the things that I really look forward to continuing to work on.
The Progressive PAC is just, the kind of group that has supported progressive candidates, as Veva and as Jewel said, and we're just getting started on speakers tonight. So I'm so proud of the kind of people that we have supported as a PAC, and will continue to. And I was joking with my coworker the other day. He said, "Hey, Simone, you better get ready for 2022. It's an election year." And I go, "An election year? This wasn't an election year?" I'm sure we all feel it. We had the recall. We've just had a lot of stuff going on. But bringing up 2022, we have a new election on the horizon and new candidates who are entering the arena. So it's with great pride. I'll introduce our next speaker, Mr. Hubbard.
Lauren Hubbard. Yes.
Thank you. Ooh, I'll try to stay away. Thank you guys for having me. Thanks, Simone, for the invite. My name is Lauren Hubbard, and I am running for Congress here in CD 22, whatever that looks like after this process of redistricting. And I always get the question of what kind of candidate are you? And I like to call myself the progressive candidate because those are the values that I lean into, are the progressive values. And a lot of people forget that it's progressives in this country that got women the right to vote, that freed the slaves. It was progressives in this country that passed Medicare and Social Security, that lifted elderly people out of poverty. And those are the type of values that we need to have in Congress representing us.
Yeah.
Progressives, I'm proud to call myself a progressive because I lead with those values. To me, progressives are the party, or the group of folks that have fought political corruption and corporate greed throughout America's history. We've been the check. We've expanded the circle of liberty to include more people. And it's been called upon us to do that again right now. We After 4 years of extreme division, an attempted insurrection, and 700,000 of our friends, neighbors, and fellow countrymen that have fallen to COVID, we're at a crossroads.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there asking myself, is this really the country that we want to be? Is this who we are as a country? We really have to lean into these values. And so I'm a progressive because I believe in America.
I think our next speaker, Jaguar, will be able to educate you much better on this topic than me. Jaguar, thank you for coming.
Well, thank you all for having me.
You should also watch his
Thank you. I've been down there.
Well, I'm very pleased to be here and to speak to all of you. And I think you all know the basics of what the threat is at the Tower Theater. So I'm going to content myself with giving you guys an update. Well, first off, I mean, I would like to point out that this is going to have a deep, profound, and extremely wrong impact on the Tower District. The Tower District, as we've been saying, is a beacon of progressive values, of the arts, of culture, of tolerance, of civility. It is the freest place in Fresno. It's indeed the freest place in the entire Central Valley, and we would like to keep it that way. The church that wants to buy the Tower Theater, they're right-wing. They have some very disturbing connections. They are homophobic. They simply do not belong there. They are not in accord with the moral values of our community in the Tower District. They are all kinds of things. But also, there's an also strong economic component here. The very crucial industry of the Tower District is selling alcohol, bars, restaurants, clubs.
Yeah.
And now, personally, I love to drink, but it's more than that. The bars, the nightclubs, they directly support the arts and they directly support the community. I'm the board president of the Rogue Festival. The Rogue Festival cannot happen without bars because bars are our venues. If anything that threatens the bars in the Tower District is going to be a direct threat to the arts. And it's also, the gay clubs are an essential component of the community for the LGBTQIA community. And putting this church there is a direct slap at our gay friends, and it is meant to be an act of colonization in our neighborhood, an implantment of foreign values there. So here's the question, where are we at right now? Fortunately, the sale has not gone through. The sale may indeed never gone through. It has been in suspension since Sequoia's lawsuit. Sequoia is suing for their right, under their right of first refusal, to buy the property. This is going to go to trial sometime early next year. In the meantime, this sale is suspended. But the church is still there. The church is renting, right, from Lawrence Abadi, the owner of the Tower Theater.
He's got a beard now. He's got a beard now.
But here's the interesting thing. I mean, they're meeting there, and this is in violation of current zoning, and the city is allowing it. And this is very crucial.
Yeah.
Anything that changes the zoning of the Tower Theater is going to affect the zoning of the entire district. It's going to call into question the liquor licenses and conditional use permits of the entire community. So that's the boring legal part of it, but this is where we are asking action. We have been demonstrating every Sunday since January 10th. Tomorrow will be our 41st protest. I'm told this is the longest running demonstration in Fresno history. I can't swear to that, but I'll claim it anyway. And we are pressuring the city to enforce the zoning, to take action. The city has talked in the distant future, perhaps of thinking about eminent domain. We'd like to encourage them to accelerate this program. But there are all kinds of ways this could be saved. We are also putting pressure on Lawrence Abadi. He is renting the theater to the church on a week-by-week basis. He could stop this at any time.
Yeah.
At any point, Lawrence Abadi could give up and settle with Sequoia.
Yeah.
And that is what we are encouraging Lawrence to do as well.
That having the support of just somebody who's a friend of mine, but a hero of mine, Eva Islas, means more than I can even say. Oh, sorry. So just having the support of Veva, who's a friend of mine but a hero to me and an inspiration for me, means more than you know, Veva. And so actually on that, you know, for folks that know me, I was born and raised in Fresno, a child of Fresno Unified. Didn't go to Fresno High School, but went to Edison High, but grew up in Area 5. This is my home area. I moved back to Fresno in 2012 and have spent the last decade organizing with Faith in the Valley, a multi-faith coalition, multi-faith, multiracial coalition of congregations, and the congregations that, to Jaguar, to your point, that represent the faith ideals and values that I was taught to represent, and not the ones that we see, that we've been seeing the last year in Tower Theater. But it's been the honor of my life to be organizing the last decade with Faith in the Valley, now teaching at Fresno State. My dad, I think some folks in the audience probably knew my dad, Dr. Robert Levine. My mom, Trudy Tom, were both educators. My dad taught at Fresno State for 45 years, and I've had the honor the last 3 years of sort of carrying on his legacy at Fresno State and teaching a couple of classes in sociology. But, you know, I say that to say that I am not, honestly, and you can probably even tell already, that I'm not necessarily comfortable. It's not necessarily my comfort zone to be front and center, to be out in public. I'm much more comfortable behind the scenes and supporting folks that have that gift. But to be able to stand and to work alongside Veva and to do something about the mess that is in our school district, that has been in our school district for a long time. This isn't just since COVID. This is for long before COVID. Our school district was failing to meet the needs and represent the entire community. I had the amazing fortune of an opportunity at Fresno Unified that did expose me to teachers that are incredible and that are inspirations to me still, but I saw far too many fellow students at Powers, at Cvppac, at Edison growing up that were just as smart, if not smarter than me, but didn't have the opportunities that I had. And so to be able to work with Veva and others and to try to actually remind our board and our district of the things that are actually important and not the things that are easily distracted and dividing us would be the honor and opportunity of my life. And so it'll be a special election, as Veva said. Carol Mills very sadly passed away, was the trustee for this area for the last, I think, 20 or so years. And so it'll be a special election on April 12th. And so just announced a few weeks ago, and I've got, I think, last Tuesday was officially 6 months until Election Day, which feels like a long time to me, but I'm being reminded it's actually not very long. So would be honored to have your support and honored to meet each of you individually and go to speak to whoever you'd like me to speak these next 6 months. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andy. Thanks for just jumping in. I know that's probably going to be a lot of what you have to do over the next 6 months, so thanks for speaking with everyone tonight. Next up, we're going to talk about another special election. Again, as I said earlier, there's just so much going on. It has felt like an election year, probably for many of you. So there's another special election happening to our north in Madera. So it is a city council race for the city of Madera, and there are 2 candidates who will be running against each other for that seat. The Central Valley Progressive PAC, just a month or so ago, endorsed one of them, and that is an amazing woman who was the editor of the Community Alliance, is my coworker at SEIU 521, Elsa Medea.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Elsa Mejia. First of all, I would like to thank you for your unanimous endorsement, for inviting me here. It was such an honor to receive that and to hear that, you know, that it had been or I don't know how long since it had been unanimous. Like Simone mentioned, I am running in a special election on November 2nd. There are 17 days left until Election Day. And I am very proud of my community because a lot of people have come out that otherwise would not have been involved, or we don't really see them involved. And so I feel that in and of itself is something to be very proud of. A lot of volunteers, a lot of individuals, and it's truly a grassroots campaign, and I'm just very humbled and very proud of my community. And again, I thank you so much for your support. I'm on Facebook as Elect Elsa Mejia. I also have a website, electelsamejia.com, and you can learn more and see all the action that we've been taking during these past 3 months. And thank you so much.
There are many themes, a lot of similarities, of course. I feel like Kern is probably about 10 years behind where y'all have gotten here in Fresno. So I definitely look to Fresno and probably to the work of many of you as an example of how to fight the power. And so as I was thinking about how to really get at the meat of redistricting, I thought about the quote from Gandhi about first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win. They are fighting us because they know that we're going to win, and redistricting is why. When they ignored us, and we've heard many examples of being ignored tonight, right? And in fact, as I was sitting in a Board of Supervisors meeting in Kings County, they started the meeting by asking, they prayed to God to have our president and governor accept Jesus Christ as their savior. I can't make this stuff up, right? We've heard about the issues with Fresno County Board of Supervisors and CPS. We know that very well in Kern County. In fact, I was a public defender in Kern County. Our CPS folks were taking away kids from parents that were actually innocent, ended up spending decades in prison, and then released. So we're no stranger to those issues either. Your policing issues, especially as a former public defender, I definitely paid close attention to those. I got to hear from your new chief of police, Paco Valderrama. But of course, being the first Latino chief of police, that's a step in the right direction, 100%. But of course, there was a lot of corruption and remains a lot of corruption. And at best, it goes unpunished. At worst, it gets rewarded. I have also learned about the fact that your social services were centralized in Clovis, of all places. That was really awful to hear on Cvppac recently, in the fight to make sure that it's accessible to people throughout the county is something that's really troubling to hear. Absolutely, thank you. But of course, there's a lot of hope. They're not just ignoring us anymore, and they can't dismiss us. I was in Fresno when you guys were able to raise the pride flag for the very first time in the city of Fresno. I went to law school in San Francisco when Gavin Newsom was governor, and he ordered that marriage licenses be made available to same-sex couples for the first time. And I will never forget walking to school past the city hall with families lined up around the city hall, vendors selling flowers, everybody dressed up, their kids so excited. And then to come to Kern County and find that they overwhelmingly voted for Prop 8. But my call to activism came in 2017 when my son's principal experienced an anti-LGBTQ hate crime. And there was a lot of hope in the fact that we parents were able to stand up and say we support our principal no matter what, and this is not a place for hate. You come at him, you're coming at us. And we got the person who did it prosecuted, and she was not able to ever teach again. Yes, it was a teacher who did it. And the school district supported our principal. That would have never happened before. Okay, I went to the public defender's office the next day after Prop 8 passed, and there were people I worked with who were glad that it passed. So to go from that to supporting a principal openly in public in Bakersfield, there is hope in the Central Valley, and there's hope in the redistricting process. We're going to see a major shift because of the maps to my left and to my right. In particular, I want to note some numbers, and I promise not to have too many. All 11 Central Valley counties now have over 50% Latino populations. In Fresno County in particular, out of a population of 1,008,654, you've got 53.6% Latinos. Your Asian American population, highest by far of any county in the Central Valley, 10.9%. People identifying as 2 or more races, 2.2%. African American or Black, 4.4%. White people identifying as white or Caucasian, 27%. So that means your communities of color, 71.1% of Fresno County now. Woo, woo. But none of the Board of Supervisors anywhere in the Central Valley have even more than one elected leader on there who is truly, or at least moderately representative of the communities that they serve. Our redistricting analysis and the maps that we have submitted, not just in Fresno County, but up and down the valley, will increase the 20% that we currently have to 55%.
Woo! Woo!
That's a 200% increase in communities of color being represented. This is what it takes to realign. And they could have done this 10 years ago, but they didn't, right? Because first they ignored us, then they laughed at us, and now they're fighting us. Well, how are they fighting us? I got some really good treats to share with you. It's not even Halloween yet. I got some treats. Here you go. When we submitted our map in Fresno County on October 5th to a packed room, we suddenly got accused of having bad data. By the way, their data was wrong. We have gotten accused in the media of being a so-called equity coalition. So-called. I served on a panel recently, and on Facebook they commented saying, you just want to get Democrats elected. You're politically motivated, right? And like, no. What we did was we put out community of interest surveys at food banks, vaccination clinics, flea markets. We went door to door. We sent it out digitally, just asking people about their communities. Do you feel your elected representatives are responsive to your needs? In Fresno County, there was only one person who said that the county was responsive to their needs. Guess where they live? Clovis.
The break of day. Start again. I heard them say, don't dwell on what has passed away or what's yet to be. The holy dove, she will be caught again. All the wars, they'll just be fought again, and then caught and caught and caught again. The dove is never free. Ring the bell that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack, there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. As for signs, signs were sin. The birth betrayed, the marriage spin, all the widowhood of every government. The signs are there to see. Can't run no more with that lawless crowd. They put killers in high places, and say their prayers out loud. Now they summon up a thundercloud. It's called you and me. Ring the bell that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack, there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. You can add up the parts, but there is no sum. You can strike up the march, but there is no drum. To every heart, love will come, but like a refugee. Ring the bell that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack, there's a crack in everything. It's how the light gets in. Got a little story. I went down to the thing that they were talking about down at the Tower Theater, and I figured I'd go over and talk to these Proud Boy guys. I look like a redneck, and I sing a lot of their songs. You know, as a matter of fact, I have family. There's a lot of rednecks I love. You know, I don't know about their politics, but I guess it takes all kinds. So I went over and I said, you know, I'm not really here about what everyone else is talking about. I saw Old Yeller in there. I saw Chris Christopherson in there. I saw Johnny Cash in there. Where are these guys going to go who, when they get a little older, then they're not filling out the Save Mart Center anymore? Where are they going to go? And if you take it and you make it this, whatever they're trying to do, there's the big problem right there. And where are they going to show the movies that they don't show anywhere else? And when I walked away, they totally agreed with me. They even said on their TV show that they agreed with me, and they called me like an old school Democrat, like Kennedy. And at that moment, I kind of realized that I feel sorry for them. You know, my heart kind of broke a little bit because these are guys younger than me, and they're even more lost than I am, you know? And I just feel so lost being a Fresnan when I go to other places. And, man, I think if we can find somewhere in our hearts to, drop some of the anger that we so righteously have, we realize that these people just don't have it up here, and there's nothing we can do about it. And maybe just hope that evolution takes care of it, you know? And you know, when I was young, the first thing I did when I got my driver's license was go fishing. Second thing was go to church, and there was very nice people there, but after a while I realized, I don't believe a lot of this stuff. And then I read Spinoza, and things started to make some more sense to me. And here's a song kind of about that very thing. Deep in the heart of the infinite darkness A tiny blue marble is spinning in space. It was born in the splendor of God's holy vision. Now it's flying away like a tear down its face. Look closer in the sea, all wide open wonder of oceans and rivers and mountains and trees. And the strangest creation of many, the human, a creature of freedom and laughter and dreams. But the warriors keep raising their old rusty sabers. The preachers are preaching the gospel of hate. And by their behavior, determined to teach us a lesson we're soon to be learning too late. Look around you, my brothers, we're killing each other, and we gotta quit fighting and start living in peace. Life is the question, life is the answer. We are the reason, and love is the way. Life is the question, life is the answer, and we are the reason, and love is the way.
Hit in Norway as a country song. It's been a hit in Louisiana as a Cajun song. It's really big in Hawaii, where I learned it, and all over the world there's versions of this song. And I didn't hear it until I went to Hawaii. My daughter is half Hawaiian. I'm not, but her mom is Hawaiian. And a Beamer, if you've ever heard of Keola and Kapono Beamer, the guitar players, that's my daughter's uncles. Nona Beamer, that's their aunt. You can look them up on Wikipedia. And Mahi Beamer, the great singer. I asked the Hawaiian guy that was helping me load things in. I mean, he's a Hawaiian cowboy guy. And I said, who's the best Hawaiian singer? He said, my uncle, Mahi Beamer. I said, well, who's second best? He said, I hate to admit it, but it's Marty Robbins. So these guys, you think you're going to go to Hawaii, and I guess if you go to the tourist areas, but there was no grass skirts, there was no, I didn't see a pineapple or a coconut. I saw cowboys. And they dressed like cowboys, and they sang cowboy songs. At the Beamer Ranch, there was not a single ukulele. It was all guitars. And the first thing I heard was a guy sit down, and he did this song. And it's Leonard Cvppac. I cannot pronounce the man's last name, but it's Leonard, and then it starts with a K. Very famous Hawaiian singer. And it was beautiful. I said, man, I'm going to try to do that. I tried, but I'm going to try tonight. And it's just, I like this because it's so... Like I said, it's been everywhere, and it seems to be versatile. Written by Jimmy C. Newman, the Cajun guy, though. So. I was a fool, losing you, blue darling. I saw the teardrops take the place of your sweet smile, and I was wrong, hurting you, blue darling, oh blue darling, you're my lone and only one. So please forgive me. I'm so sorry for
and I would die if I lose you. Oh, blue darling, you're my lone and only one. So please forgive me. I am sorry for all the wrong I've done. Please forgive me, oh blue darling, you're my lone and only one. Oh blue darling, you are my only one.
Thank you for watching the Central Valley Progressive PAC Fall Fundraiser that took place on October 16th, 2021. We hope you will join us as we elect more progressives in the San Joaquin Valley. You can become a member at www.cvppac.org.